Today I fucked up by accidentally making my boyfriend think the car was breaking down on the highway. So this just happened a few minutes ago, said boyfriend is still next to me. A bit of context, my partner lost his smell for the most part due to long COVID. Another piece of context, I'm lactose intolerant. That doesn't stop me though. So for dinner last night, I ate a lot more dairy than I probably should have, baked potato with hella cheese and even more sour cream. So today my stomach was a bit fucked up, to say the least. I was in the car with my BF, on our way to pick up lunch, and my stomach was starting to hurt, so I decided to let a couple, silent but deadly, rips out. Opened the window a bit so it wouldn't be as bad, but it only did so much. After a few seconds, my partner starts panicking and pulls over onto the side of the highway. He started frantically checking the car, and I'm pretty clueless when it comes to cars, so I asked him what was wrong with the car. He explained to me that he smelled rotten eggs, which is a sign that the battery is failing. I just looked at him and said, "Babe, Jeremy, the car's name is fine." I just ripped ass. We ended up not being able to leave for another 10 minutes because he couldn't stop laughing, but he now has me as car running dash failing car battery car running dash in his phone. Too long did not read. Farted in the car and made my boyfriend think it was breaking down. Ah, finally. A cure for long COVID. Can we bottle that up? Rotten eggs smell isn't the battery, it's the catalytic converter. But also, this is a funny story. For anyone who's curious, the rotten egg smell's relation to batteries is that the lead-acid batteries in cars emit sulfur as they off-gas. Normally it's undetectable, but if they're really breaking down it can smell like stinky farts. The car's name is also my name. Yay. Also, that's a pretty solid rip if losing smell and you made it through that barrier. OMG, that reminds me of the time that I smelled rotten eggs in my parents' basement and I was concerned it was a gas leak because it was worse than anything I smelled before. No one admitted to farting until I was looking about who to call about a potential gas leak. Our city has advertising about this and warning of the smell. Turns out my boyfriend was holding it in and unleashed gas worse than Vesuvius eruption and didn't want to admit to it because he was embarrassed. In my defense, I never smelled something so rancid before, didn't think it was human-made. That will make him love you even more. Have you tried to use Lactaid when you want to eat dairy? Heard it works really well. Today I fucked up by using my in-laws' bidet. So as the title implies, my husband, 27M, and I, 26F, are currently visiting his family for a week. This is the first time I've stayed at their house, and I noticed all three of their toilets happen to have simple bidet attachments. Now I'd never used a bidet before this visit, and with it just being a simple two-setting attachment instead of the much more intimidating luxury bidet units, I figured I'd try it out while getting ready for bed. Ended up enjoying it, except for one problem. The way this particular bidet works is it has a knob that can turn right or left, with each side having a different setting you can use, and the more you turn it the stronger the water pressure gets. Only thing was, I couldn't quite figure out what the difference between the two settings is supposed to be. They're only labeled with simple icons, and one just looks like a butt getting sprayed while the other has an arrow shaped kinda like an 8, if the bottom half was a triangle. Using both settings felt just fine on myself, but the water streams also felt identical no matter what I picked. So, I got the bright idea to try turning on the bidet while not sitting on the toilet, to see if I could spot a visual difference. Some of you can probably guess where this is going. After I did my business and flushed, I reopened the lid and turned the knob to the lowest pressure on one of the settings. This ended up being too low to see anything other than a trickle down the inside of the bowl, so one turned it up to the next pressure level. Big mistake. Immediately the water streams shot up and out of the toilet, spraying me directly in the stomach. Quickly I grabbed the knob and yanked it in the other direction to turn it off. However, in my panic I forgot one crucial thing. Remember how I said the two settings were on the left and right of the knob? This puts the off position directly in the center. So when I yanked the knob the other direction to turn it off, I overcorrected and put the other setting on full blast. At that point I started panicking even more and yanked it back the other direction once again, and over and over and over while unable to figure out why the water wasn't turning the fuck off, goddammit. Until finally my rational brain caught up and I forced myself to turn the knob slowly until it was squarely in the center, and thankfully that got the water to turn off at last. But not before I had sprayed toilet water all over the bathroom floor and myself. So now my pajamas are soaked, my husband is laughing his ass off at me, and I'm still no closer to figuring out what the fuck each setting is supposed to be used for. Here's hoping the water I couldn't wipe up with extra toilet paper at least dries up before tomorrow morning. Too long did not read. Out of curiosity I turned on my in-laws' bidet attachment while not sitting on the toilet, panicked when it sprayed outside the toilet bowl and forgot how to turn it off, and soaked the entire bathroom and myself. One is supposed to be rear spray for both men and women. The other is supposed to be front spray for women. I was expecting something more like, I used a bidet. Now I can't bring myself to poop anywhere that doesn't have a bidet. Here's hoping the water I couldn't wipe up with extra toilet paper at least dries up before tomorrow morning. You just left water on the floor? The fuck? Use a towel or your already soaked pajamas or something. Best part of a bidet is when someone tries it for the first time. The screams. The looks. The ones who won't look you in the eye after. Tears of joy, tears of joy. Just FYI, it's not toilet water. It's just water coming from the pipe. It's not connected to the cistern or the bowl in any way. There's a cable split of the water. This is a great story that should be shared for decades in your family. Should be a great Thanksgiving dinner conversation.